Hare Krishna. So today, as we have described in our invitations or our group that we have, Samvardhan group, that all I believe most of you are part of it. If not, then you please do register. Abhishek is here. Give your number and you will also get the invitation and the program details. आपको भी program details WhatsApp में भेजी जाएगी. तो जैसे मैसेज भेजा गया था, आज ये हफ्ते से हम लोग स्पेशल कोर्स चालू कर रहे हैं और कोर्स का नाम है जर्नी ऑफ सेल्फ डिस्कवरी. ये जो कोर्स है ये ना ही किसी का कॉन्कॉक्शन है और ना ही किसी का मैनिपुलेशन है. दिस इज अगेन बेस्ड ऑन भगवत गीता. एज मैनी ऑफ वी हैव मेट हु हैव कन्फर्म कि भाई भगवत गीता पढ़ना बहुत मुश्किल है. तो उसके लिए क्या है कि एक थोड़ा बेसिक नॉलेज, अगर बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स दिया जाए तो जब भी आप भगवत गीता पढ़ोगे तो कॉन्सेप्ट्स जब भी आएगा तो देन हाँ ये तो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है क्योंकि मैंने आगे पढ़ा हुआ है. हाँ, जैसे अगर किसी को डायरेक्ट पीएचडी में या क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स के बारे में समझाना है तो उसको पहले बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ फिजिक्स तो समझाने पड़ेंगे ना. तो उसके लिए दिस पर्टिकुलर कोर्स हैज़ बीन डिजाइन्ड बाय इस्कॉन. और ये जो कोर्स है वो पिछले आई थिंक 1996 और 1992 आई बिलीव उसके पहले से ही चालू. इट्स ऑलमोस्ट नाउ मोर देन 35 years दैट दिस कोर्स हैज़ बीन गोइंग ऑन. एंड जब भी कोई भगवत गीता स्टार्ट करते हैं तो सबसे पहले ये कोर्स बताया जाता है. तो उसकी वजह से अपना फाउंडेशन जो है वो एकदम पक्का हो जाता है. तो विल बी डूइंग दिस पर्टिकुलर कोर्स. एंड जैसे उसमें बताया गया था इन आवर flyer that was made by Abhishek Prabhu. So just for the benefit of everyone, I'll just quickly call out that what it will be covering, right? So that there is no confusion for all of you. So basically this course is aimed, first topic that we will discuss is search for happiness. हाँ, क्योंकि हम सब लोग happiness के लिए इधर उधर भाग रहे हैं हर जगह पे. हाँ, और हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि happiness कहाँ पे मिलेगी. And maybe one of the reasons that you are coming here is to find happiness, right? Or a fulfillment. Other thing we'll discuss is about, of course, along with the happiness, we would like to know what is the purpose of life. Huh? We'll also see that whether God exists. Huh? Or can I be good? मैं अकेला ही काफ़ी हूँ, भगवान की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Huh? And then the $1,000,000 question that everybody talks about is, why do bad things happen to good people and why do good things happen to bad sorry he always gets confused. Good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. Okay, so we will try to cover that. Then we will also talk about how do we control the mind and how to improve our relationships with our parents, with our in-laws, with our friends, with our colleagues, all kinds of relationship, how we can improve on. And last but not the least, we'll cover that how does the spirituality or the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita make me better at academics, career and social life. Okay, so this is the basic thing जो हम ये कोर्स में कवर करेंगे. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले हमें तो सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन, आई डोंट नो किसको आया है कि नहीं आया है, बट एटलीस्ट आई हैड एक्सपीरियंस, नॉट ऑल द टाइम बट वंस, कि मेरा जन्म इसी जगह पे क्यों हुआ. वाई दिस आर माई पेरेंट्स ओनली, वाई नॉट एनी वन एल्स. मेरे यही रिलेटिव्स क्यों हैं, मेरे दूसरे कोई रिलेटिव्स क्यों नहीं है. हाँ, इसीलिए मार्क ट्वेन ने बताया था कि 2 दिन आपकी लाइफ में बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. 2 days are very very important. The day you were born and the day you realize why you were born. तुम्हारा जन्म कभी हुआ था, but the most important day will be कि जन्म क्यों हुआ था, किसके लिए हुआ था. मेरा पर्पस क्या है यहाँ पे आने का. और जब भी वो समझ में आ जाएगा, जब भी आप रियलाइज कर लोगे कि मेरा जन्म क्यों हुआ है, that will be the success of your life. तो अभी हम आज पहला जो टॉपिक है वो हम ये लेंगे कि सब लोग जो है वो हैप्पीनेस के पीछे दौड़ रहे हैं. हाँ, सबको हैप्पीनेस. यहाँ पे कोई है जिसको हैप्पीनेस नहीं चाहिए? एवरीवन वांट्स हैप्पीनेस, राइट? एंड इसीलिए तो हमारी क्या बोलते हैं, कंज्यूमर इंडस्ट्री इज थ्राइविंग. हाँ, इफ यू सी, इज सच एन अमेजिंग थिंग. आई डोंट थिंक एडवर्टाइजमेंट एरा वाज एग्जिस्टिंग बिफोर 1950, राइट? 1950 के पहले एडवर्टाइजमेंट एरा नहीं था. बट उसके बाद अगर आप देखोगे तो बेसिकली एडवर्टाइजमेंट कंपनी क्या है? जस्ट ट्राइंग टू सेल देयर प्रोडक्ट्स इन द नेम ऑफ हैप्पीनेस, है कि नहीं? जो भी कुछ प्रोडक्ट बेच रहे हैं वो, अभी टूथपेस्ट है कि नहीं? आपको सिर्फ सुबह उसको टूथपेस्ट लगा के आपको ब्रश करना है, खत्म हो गया. पहले तो वो भी नहीं था. हाँ, इट वॉज एवरीथिंग वॉज प्रोवाइडेड बाय द नेचर. आपको कोई दुकान में जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं थी. हाँ, 19th सेंचुरी में, अर्ली 19th सेंचुरी में कोई दुकानें नहीं थी. हाँ, सिर्फ दुकानें किसकी थी? वो भी दुकान नहीं होती थी, वो बेसिकली लाइक उनका वो ऑक्यूपेशन होता था. जैसे कुंभार होते थे, लुहार होते थे, वैसा. हाँ, बट ऐसा कोई कंज्यूमर इंडस्ट्री नहीं था. हाँ, तो अगर दातुन चाहिए तो आपको पेड़ से मिल जाता था. और ऐसा बताया जाता है कि वो दातुन में इतनी ताकत है कि आपको डेंटिस्ट के पास जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ती थी. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो योर ग्रैंड मदर? एटलीस्ट माई ग्रैंड मदर आई नो, टिल शी डाइड उसके ऑल टीथ्स आर इंटैक्ट. नॉट अ सिंगल एक्सट्रैक्शन शी हैड टू गो थ्रू. नॉट अ सिंगल. जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दातुन. उसके बाद दिस वंडरफुल टूथपेस्ट एंड एवरीथिंग हैज कम. नाउ वो सुबह की सिर्फ 5 मिनट की भी क्रिया नहीं है, हाँ, ब्रश करना. पर कैसे बताया जाता है? अ ब्यूटीफुल लेडी एंड अ हैंडसम गाय कमिंग एंड लाइक टॉकिंग अबाउट लाइक ये टूथपेस्ट लेने से आपका ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. एंड पीपल बाय इनटू दिस. यू में भी सरप्राइज, अरे प्रभु जी आप कैसे बात कर रहे हो? ऐसे वो देख के हम लोग थोड़ी ना टूथपेस्ट कोई बाय करते हैं. अगर ऐसा नहीं होता था ना तो आज लोग आईफोन के पीछे पागल नहीं होते थे. हाँ, आईफोन देता क्या है? सेम फीचर्स जो एंड्रॉयड में, वो ये ज़्यादा से 2-3 इधर उधर रहेंगे. और बिलीव मी, फोन में जितने फीचर्स है, बताओ कि प्लीज रेज योर हैंड अगर आपने सारे के सारे फीचर्स जो फोन में है वो यूज किए हैं. एनीबडी हु हैज यूज्ड 90% ऑफ द फीचर्स? प्लीज रेज योर हैंड. सॉरी, नॉट इवन अवेयर अबाउट इट. या, राइट? So probably I should ask rather than using it, are you aware how many features are available in your phone? But फिर भी हमको वही फोन चाहिए. Why? Because मार्केटिंग इंडस्ट्री ने ऐसा किया था. और हम लोग सोचते हैं कि सिर्फ भारतीय पागल है. ऐसा नहीं है. यूएस के लोग हमसे भी ज्यादा पागल हैं. बिकॉज आई वॉज इन यूएस. अभी तो क्रेज कम हो गया थोड़ा, बट जब शुरू में आईफोन आया था तभी उसके लॉन्च होते थे तो लिटरली लोग लाइन लगाते थे. विंटर में वहां पे इतनी ठंड पड़ती है, माइनस में टेम्परेचर जाता है, -डिग्री में. हाँ, टेम्परेचर अभी भी जाता है पर लोग अभी नहीं खड़े रहते. अभी भी खड़े रहते हैं. ओके, बट नॉट दैट मच. दैट टाइम तो लाइन वाज लाइक जैसे अभी दहीसर से मीरा रोड तक लाइन है, उतना लंबा लंबा लाइन लगता था वहां पे, जस्ट टू बाय द आईफोन ऑन द फर्स्ट डे. जैसे कई लोग पिक्चर के दीवाने होते हैं ना कि भाई फर्स्ट डे फर्स्ट शो. अभी तो उतना नहीं है, वरना पहले होता था ब्लैक में टिकट खरीदनी पड़ती थी वगैरह, सब जाते थे. हाँ, तो व्हाट इज दैट? दैट इज अ मार्केटिंग इंडस्ट्री इज जस्ट टेलिंग यू कि अगर फोन होए तो आईफोन ही होना चाहिए, नहीं तो मतलब ही नहीं है फोन का कोई. हाँ, इसलिए कोई जोक भी मारता है कि S1 S2 तो सेकंड क्लास के डब्बे भी होते हैं. No offense to the Android Samsung people, but people make a joke that जैसे S1 S2 S3, अभी S23 S24 whatever is going on. Right? तो मार्केटिंग इंडस्ट्री ऐसी चीज़ है, और ख़ास करके जो हमारी यंग जनरेशन है जिसको उनके पेरेंट्स या तो उनके ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स में से फेथ बिल्कुल ही निकल गया है. अभी जैसे देखा जाए तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम लोग अभी कमिंग बैक टू द हिप्पी एरा, एटलीस्ट इन इंडिया. आई एम श्योर यूएस में तो है ही है, बट ऑफकोर्स नॉट द एक्सट्रीम हिप्पीज वेयर लाइक वो लोग पूरा ड्रग्स और सेक्स और पूरा ऐसे ही कुछ भी करने का, वैसा नहीं. बट वहाँ पे हिप्पी लोगों का एक सबसे बड़ा प्रिंसिपल था. दैट प्रिंसिपल दे यूज्ड टू फॉलो वेरी स्ट्रिक्टली. व्हाट वाज दैट प्रिंसिपल? एनीबडी अबोव दुनिया से अलग चलना। पर उससे भी एक पत्थर पे लकीर वाला प्रिंसिपल था उनका, एनीबडी अबोव 30 डोंट ट्रस्ट देम। ये जो सारे लोग थे ना, वो ऑलमोस्ट बिलो 30 वाले यंग पीपल थे। तो उनका एक ही मंत्र था कि अगर हमारे से अगर कोई 30 साल से ज्यादा की उम्र वाला कोई भी है ना, तो उसको उस पर भरोसा ही मत करो। क्यों? क्योंकि वो तुमको टिपिकल स्टीरियोटाइप लाइफ में ही लेके जाएगा, जैसे इन्होंने बताया हमको कुछ हटके करना है। हाँ, तो सिमिलरली आजकल की जो हमारी जनरेशन है, अभी तो मिलेनियन के बाद कौन सा, जेन एक्स या जेन वाई, कौन सा चल, जेन जी, जेन जी। हाँ, सो वो जनरेशन में लोग सोचते हैं कि भाई क्या ये हमारे मम्मी डैडी को कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है। हाँ, आई वॉज हियरिंग माई किड्स आर इन 12th, सो दे आर गोइंग टू अपियर फॉर JEE। तो उसके पहले ना दे गो फॉर माइंड सेटल करके क्लासेस है। तो उनके जो प्रोफेसर थे ना फिजिक्स के, उन्होंने एक सेशन रखा था पैप टॉक जैसा बच्चों को देने के लिए, और पेरेंट्स को भी बुलाया था उसके अंदर। तो उसमें एक जो प्रोफेसर थे फिजिक्स के, उनके बच्चे भी, तो ही वॉज स्पीकिंग द रियलाइज्ड विजडम। हाँ, तो बता रहे थे कि बच्चों, प्लीज प्लीज डोंट टेल योर पेरेंट्स कि तुमको कुछ पता नहीं चलता है। हाँ, तुमको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता, हम जो कर रहे हैं ना हमको करने दो, आपका ज्ञान अपने पास रखो। अभी वो पहले जैसा 12th स्टैंडर्ड वाला पढ़ाई नहीं है ये। तो उन्होंने इतने अच्छे से बताया कि डोंट टेल योर पेरेंट्स, बिकॉज ही न्यू कि उसके बच्चे ने भी उनको वही बोला था, एंड ही नोज कि एवरी किड्स विल स्पीक लाइक दिस, कि आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है। हाँ, सो दैट इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपनिंग इवन टुडे, राइट? तो अगर बताएंगे कि नहीं बेटा इतना कॉस्टली फोन का क्या जरूरत है, नहीं चाहिए मेरे को, पर्सन में स्टे इन धारावी। हाँ, पर बाइक तो उसको वो 2 लाख वाला ही चाहिए, जो एकदम लाइक हाई फाई या बुलेट और वैसा। पर घर में बरोबर से रहने का नहीं रहेगा, कुछ भी नहीं रहेगा, बट बाहर उसको एकदम बरोबर से चाहिए। क्यों? क्योंकि ये जो एडवर्टाइजमेंट एजेंसी है कि अगर आपके पास यही बाइक है, अगर आपके पास यही सेल फोन है, अगर आप यही टूथपेस्ट यूज करोगे, अगर आप यही सोप यूज करोगे, देन यू बिकम हैप्पी। हाँ, तो ये जो चल रहा है प्रोपागेंडा, दैट इज हाउ द थिंग्स आर। सो नाउ लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ अस, आप लोग क्या ढूंढ रहे हो, कहां पे आप सोच रहे हो कि आपको हैप्पीनेस मिलेगी, और व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू आर लुकिंग फॉर इन अ लाइफ टू बिकम हैप्पी। आप खुश होने के लिए किस चीज के लिए, कि समझो व्हाट व्हाट आई वांट इज प्रैक्टिकली फ्रॉम एवरीवन, आई वांट एटलीस्ट वन थिंग। आप बताएंगे कि अगर मुझे ये मिल गया ना, देन आई एम वेरी हैप्पी, बस उसके बाद मैं कुछ नहीं मांगूंगा भगवान, ये एक चीज मुझे दे दो आप। हाँ, सो व्हाट इज दैट यू आर लुकिंग फॉर, दैट वन थिंग that will make you really really happy? Anybody? Sorry? Love from everyone. Wow, if that happens you will be completely happy, you don't need anything. If your possessions, bank balance, everything is taken away, you'll be happy. But that's a very nice wish, right? Very nice wish. So let's see if others resonates with the what they have a different need to become happy.
Learn new things. Like my hobby is to learn new things.
New
And if
thing.
I learn anything new, then that makes me happy.
Okay.
However pressurized I am with studies, but even if I remove a little time for participating in some extracurriculars and learning something new, then that makes me happy.
Okay, good. Doing something new makes you happy. Okay. Anyone else? What is that one thing you feel कि नहीं ये हो गया ना तो लाइफ मेरा बन गया, जो बोलते हैं ना? Yeah. Thank you for being honest. Same thing. Everyone. No. Your hankering part was much happier than getting it. Much. And what makes you more unhappy is, like, within 6 months another version comes and you feel, I'm not gonna buy this. I wish I could have waited. Good, good. Phase. Hmm. Good, good. Thank you for sharing that. So let's see who has a contradictory view to this. Hmm. Okay. Wow. We have two sages sitting here. So don't get influenced by them, okay? We need to get influenced, but not right now to answer this question. Okay, who else wants to share? Yes. Sure. Absolutely. Okay. Hmm. Wow, nice. Please give a round of applause. Very nice. Very nice. So we are really looking forward for such kids who can really make their parents happy. That's really nice. Okay. So looks like I'm the odd man out. I am the only one who is craving for material things. So anyone else has any particular thing which you feel make you happy? Huh. Hmm. Okay. Wow. Hmm. So we found a third sage now. Yeah, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. You have a nice aspiration. And I'm sure if you are sincere enough and being in the right association, you will achieve your destination for sure. Okay, anyone? Maybe we'll take last two, okay, and then we'll move on. Anyone would like to share what? And be honest. There is nothing wrong. Okay, we are one family here, big family. So, anyone would like to share what do you think? If I get this, I'll become really happy.
have something. Whenever I imagine my life like 20-30 साल के बाद,
Uh huh.
I always imagine like छोटा सा घर हो, घर पे फैमिली हो, your
Uh.
parents family, parents wife kids, and बस छोटा सा जमीन हो जिसमें मैं खुद का खाना खाऊं, वही खाऊं बस.
This Daisal land is very, very pious. I must tell you that. I've never seen. I have done at least 5 or 6 GOSD courses like this, but I've never seen this responses. Okay, or never heard this kind of responses. It's really, really amazing and very, very encouraging to see that I am in the association of the people. यहाँ पे जो सारे लोग आ रहे हैं, they have a very high values in their life. किसी को कुछ नया सीखना है, किसी को सिंपल लाइफ चाहिए, किसी को श्री कृष्ण के चरण चाहिए, किसी को डिटैचमेंट चाहिए. हाँ, सो वो सुन के बहुत एनकरेजमेंट मिल रहा है. बट नन द लेस वी ऑल हैव टू डाइव डीप इन अवर हार्ट. क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, जब भी कोई हमको स्पॉट पे रखता है ना, तभी अच्छी चीज़ें ही निकलती हैं. इंक्लूडिंग माई सेल्फ, एज सुन एज आई गो आउट ऑफ दिस रूम at 8:30, 9 o'clock, my desires will start reeling again. मेरे को ये कार चाहिए, मेरे को यहाँ पे खाने खाना जाना बाकी अभी मेरा. ये रेस्टोरेंट वो दोस्त ने बोला था यार बहुत ज़बरदस्त मिलता है उधर चाइनीज़, जाना तो चाहिए एक बार. अभिषेक ने बोला एक रेस्टोरेंट मेरे को. उधर उधर का चाइनीज़ नहीं खाया तो तुमने क्या खाया फिर? तो उधर तो जाना ही चाहिए. हाँ, अगर स्विट्जरलैंड नहीं गए तो ये हिमालय तो कुछ नहीं है. स्विट्जरलैंड जाओ यार, क्या है, एकदम ज़बरदस्त है. ट्रेन राइड एंड दिस दैट, बहुत ज़बरदस्त है. और अपने को कैसे भी करके अपना सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम हैज़ टू बी रियली गुड. घर पे एक ऐसा कैमरा वगैरह चाहिए जिसकी वजह से पूरा सिक्योर, कुछ भी हो जाए अलार्म बजना चाहिए, या तो कुछ अगर फायर हो गया तो फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर्स वगैरह होना चाहिए. ऐसा एकदम सिस्टमेटिक और हाई, व्हाट इज़ दैट कॉल, स्मार्ट होम्स. हाँ, स्मार्ट होम्स होना चाहिए ऐसा एक. नॉट लाइक अवर प्रभु जी इज सेइंग, छोटा सा घर हो, छोटी सी ज़मीन हो. देयर आर वेरी फ्यू पीपल लाइक दैट, बट मोस्ट ऑफ अस वुड लाइक टू हैव अ लेविश हाउस. हाँ, अ वेरी नाइस ड्राइंग रूम, बेडरूम, एवरीथिंग. उसको अच्छे से सजाना है, अच्छे से वैकेशंस होना चाहिए एवरी ईयर अपने. अभी तो आजकल इंटरनेशनल वैकेशन नहीं किया तो वैकेशन मानते नहीं है बच्चे. हाँ, बच्चे बोलते हैं वो इधर गए उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात हो गई, ये तो लोकल है, तो साइड का है वैकेशन, है ना. इंटरनेशनल वैकेशन हुआ तो वो प्राइमरी वैकेशन है, बाकी सब सेकेंडरी वैकेशन है. हाँ, तो घूमना है, खाना है, पीना है अच्छे से, जो भी है वगैरह. हाँ, तो श्रीमद् भगवत गीता, और रादर श्रीमद् भागवत नहीं पर महाभारत में एक वर्ष आता है, बहुत ही अच्छा वर्ष आता है. क्योंकि अगर हम लोग देखेंगे कि 24 घंटे में से हम कितनी एक्टिविटी जो है वो किसी और से मिलती जुलती है. हाँ, और जबकि हार्डली दिन में 1 या 2 घंटे ही एक्टिविटी ऐसी है जो ये बाकी के लोगों से मिलती जुलती नहीं है. एंड व्हेन आई एम से बाकी के लोग, वो कौन है? वो है नॉन ह्यूमंस. तो इसके लिए एक बहुत अच्छा वर्ष आता है श्रीमद् महाभारत में. So I'll read that verse and then I'll explain about that particular verse. It is very, very important verse that comes in Ahara Nidra Bhay Maithunam Cha Samanyam Etat Pashubhir Naranam Dharmo Hi Tesham Adhiko Vishesho Dharme Nahi Na Pashubhi Samana. So what it is saying, that what is the similarity between us and the animals? हम लोग को भी अच्छा अच्छा खाना खाना है, एनिमल्स को भी खाना है. हमको भी एक अच्छा सा घर चाहिए. एनिमल ऑल्सो फाइंड्स अ शेल्टर वेरी नाइस विच इज़ कंफर्टेबल एंड एवरीथिंग. आपने कभी देखा है कुत्ता कितने अच्छे से ग्राउंड में खड्डा गोद के ना मस्त एकदम सुकुड़ के सो जाता है. इट्स वेरी नाइस दैट दे फाइंड देयर प्लेस टू स्लीप, फाइंड देयर प्लेस टू एंजॉय, एंड दे हैव अ डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म एज वेल. तो अगर आप लोग सोचोगे कि 24 घंटे में से मेरे कितने घंटे जो है विच इज गोइंग इन द सेम एक्टिविटी एज नॉन ह्यूमन बींग्स, which is exactly like animals, but we are doing in a most sophisticated way. आजकल तो कुत्ते लोगों का भी फैशन निकला है. आई हैव वन गाय हु हैज अ मेकिंग हिम वेयर स्वेटर. मैं बोला कुत्ता बेचारा परेशान हो जा रहेगा यार, कहाँ मेरे को ये स्वेटर पहना रहे लोग यार. गॉड हैज गिवन मी अ बॉडी विच कैन टॉलरेट एनीथिंग, यू नो, और आप लोग मेरे को ये कर रहे हो. दे हैव अ ब्यूटी पार्लर फॉर डॉग्स, कैन यू इमेजिन? दे हैव ब्यूटी पार्लर फॉर डॉग्स. So, to my utter surprise, because the dogs are going through all these things, beauty parlor and all this fashion designing and all those things, they are also developing a problem like humans. What are those problems? There is a dog psychiatrist also. Seriously, diabetes hota hai. Wow. So dogs have to go to a psychiatrist. Can you imagine? Because the humans are trying to mold them into their own lifestyle. That is a problem. हाँ, तो हम लोग जो भी एक्टिविटी करते हैं दैट इज वेरी वेरी सिमिलर, हाँ, वेरी सिमिलर टू व्हाट द एनिमल्स डू. हाँ, दैट्स व्हाई द वंस द गाय वाज टेकिंग हिज डॉग आउट फॉर अ वॉक, एंड कोई तो ऐसा लड़का रहेगा, आरुष ऐसा नहीं रहेगा, आरुष इज अ वेरी डिसिप्लिन चाइल्ड बट सम नॉटी चाइल्ड मे बी देयर. तो बोलता है कि ये डोंकी के साथ किधर जा रहे हो? तो वो भड़क गया, बोलते मेरे कुत्ते को डोंकी बोलते हैं, हाउ डेयर यू डू दिस. So he was about to go and beat the child. Child said, no, no, no. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the dog. So what we see is our activities are so much similar to the animals. And that is why Mahabharat says very clearly कि हम में और एनिमल में फर्क क्या है? What is the difference between us and the animal? Here very clearly said dharma. Dharma hi na pashu bhi samana. If we do not have a dharma, we are as good as animals. But let's define that in a more detail and a more elaborate way so that it resonates with us. Because dharma is a very big term. उसमें समझ में नहीं आएगा अपने को कि क्या कहना चाहते हैं. तो हम में और पशु में क्या अंतर है? What is the difference between us and the non-human beings? We eat, they eat. We sleep, they sleep. We defend, they defend. We enjoy, they also enjoy. Right? So what is the difference, or what is the additional thing that we human being have? अभी ये कोई चीज बाहर जाके देखो कोई सोच नहीं रहा है. Everyone, अभी मुझे लगा, I don't know whether it's happened really or not, but suddenly the traffic has increased, something like that is happening. You guys are feeling, I don't know, from coming from mirror to here is taking a hell lot of time. So many people out there and so many people we invite to come and join us. टाइम नहीं है, या तो ये बकवास की बातें कौन सुनने वाला है, हमको नहीं चाहिए ये सब चीज़ें. वी आर हैप्पी विथ वॉट वी आर. हाँ, सो कैन यू इमेजिन कितना लेवल का इग्नोरेंस है. सो उनको अगर जाके पूछेंगे तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं. बट एटलीस्ट आई कैन आस्क यू, आस्क दिस असेंबली that what is that human being got better or the special that animals don't have? Anybody? We think. Do you think they don't think? They also think. To question something. Huh?
डॉग आएगा वो सोचेगा कि हाँ ये इधर है, लेकिन हम सोचेंगे कि ये क्यों है इधर.
So we have a extra thing to ask a question, why? But believe me, dog also ask a question why to himself and try to adjust. But can you elaborate on that? What are the different whys we ask? Okay, good. That definitely the animal is not going to ask that question. What is the other question that you're going to ask which you think the animal is generally not going to ask? What is the purpose of life?
Why do I need money?
Why do I need money? Probably they will definitely not going to ask that question. For sure. For sure. They're also going to ask, why am I suffering? They not ask that question. They just accept it and that's it. At the max, they will just try to avoid a little bit, but they will not ponder over it. Do I really need to go through this suffering? They will not ask that those kind of questions, right? So definitely the the ability that we have that they don't have is ability to inquire specifically into the spiritual matters. Okay, so that's something the animal species don't have, which human species have, right? There is another thing that we have but they don't have. There is something called bliss that they don't experience as such other than the physical pleasure, hmm? which we also experience but in a most sophisticated way and things like that. But on top of that we have a three other pleasures. What are those three other pleasures that we have? We have a emotional pleasure. Hmm? She said that she wants to really get good grades in the 12th and she wants to make her parents happy. This is emotional pleasure, isn't it? Agar you are working hard for whom? For your family, to give facilities and everything, right? सब लोग इतना संघर्ष क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि ये करने से जो भी मुझे मिलेगा उससे मैं मेरे अपने इर्द गिर्द वाले जो लोग हैं, मेरे जो रिलेटिव्स हैं, उनको मैं खुश कर पाऊंगा. हाँ, इसीलिए अर्जुन आस्क क्वेश्चन कि आप मुझे फाइट करने को बोल रहे हो, पर अगर सब लोग मर जाएंगे तो अगर मैं जीत भी गया तो फायदा क्या है अकेला? हाँ, दैट इज वाई you go to US, people don't have the families, and that is why they keep dogs. And that's a problem of Indians, that we blindly follow the West. That is why Srila Prabhupada went West and make them devotees so that we blindly copy, okay, I also want to become a devotee. You know, how blindly we copy. उनके लाइफ में कोई नहीं है, इसके लिए they need somebody to have exchanges. हमारे घर में ऑलरेडी 5-6 जन है और एक और लेके आ जाते हैं हम लोग यार. This doesn't make sense. And that too, in Mumbai, where you don't have this big houses, you have a flat system, apartment system. It becomes very difficult, but still, because it sounds, it looks very upbeat, it everybody will look at me as, oh, I'm a very posh, I'm this, that. That's why they get it. It's not that they're true dog lovers. I have a friend who is really a true dog lover. You know how many dogs he has? He has 20 dogs and 30 cats. And not this foreign breed. These are all desi log. Huh? The desi dogs, he basically takes care of the street dogs. That is a true dog lover. And you don't find the true dog lover or an animal lover everywhere. It's not possible. And generally they don't keep the pet animals as such. They try to help the animals. Okay, so that is very much required. So we have this emotional pleasure which dogs and the monkeys and the cats don't have it, right? Then what is the other pleasure that we have that they don't have? Intellectual pleasure. We try to play chess, we try to solve some of these IT issues and the problems of this world, and people really get into it. वो टाइम पे अगर आप उसको खाना भी दोगे ना, बोला कि थोड़ी देर के बाद, अभी डोंट जस्ट डिस्टर्ब मी, आई एम कंप्लीटली फोकस. सो दैट प्लेजर इज सो हाई दैट दे वांट टू गिव अप द फिजिकल प्लेजर. They can completely get engaged into that. And the last but the not least, the final pleasure that human being can have is a spiritual pleasure. Okay, so these are the 4 pleasures that we do much differently, or other these 3 pleasures, so they don't have it only, the animals. Okay, which we can experience. Okay, then what is the other thing that we have but they don't have other than the pleasure? So there are 2 more things that is being discussed here, and why we are discussing this is very important, because unless until we find out ourselves is special, is not to pat on the back, oh, I am a special person. No. Why we are discussing that we are special? Because with the special person that you realize that you are, उससे क्या समझ में आएगा आपको कि भाई मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी कुछ अलग है. स्पेशल बनाने का कोई हम लोग बहाना नहीं ढूंढ रहे हैं यहाँ पे. स्पेशल क्यों है हम उसका बताने का कारण ये है कि उसके हमको समझ में आएगा कि बिकॉज वी आर स्पेशल हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज भी अलग है. जैसे टुमारो इफ यू बीन आस्क्ड टू बिकम अ प्राइम मिनिस्टर, इट्स अ स्पेशल थिंग, यस और नो? स्पेशल थिंग, राइट? बट विद दैट स्पेशल थिंग विल यू हैव द स्पेशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज और नॉट? इट डज. दैट्स व्हाट पीपल फेल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हाँ उनको लाल बत्ती वाली गाड़ी में जाना अच्छा लगता है, हाँ लोग सलाम मारेंगे तो अच्छा लगता है, पर उनको समझ में नहीं आता है कि इसके साथ कितनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज जुड़ी हुई है. वो बहुत ही ज़रूरी है. हाँ, इसके लिए हम लोग ये डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि ह्यूमन फॉर्म इज स्पेशल, व्हाई इट इज स्पेशल, और उसके साथ क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज जुड़ी है वो हम लोग आगे आगे देखते जाएंगे. द अनदर थिंग which makes human being special than the animal is choice. We have a choice. Dog doesn't have a choice. Cat doesn't have a choice. वो जहाँ पे रहा ना वो वहीं पे उसका जीवन बिता देगा. ऐसा नहीं सोचेगा कि चलो मैं यार बम्बई में तो बहुत पोल्यूशन बढ़ गया है आजकल, मैं गुजरात जाता हूँ. कुत्ता कभी नहीं सोच सकता वो, राइट? Or any other animal cannot think like that, but a human being can think like that. हाँ वो सोचेगा कि अरे यार बम्बई तो छोड़ा, पूरा इंडिया ही बेकार हो गया अभी. मैंने सुना न्यूजीलैंड बहुत अच्छा है, वेरी सीनिक, वेरी ब्यूटीफुल, नाइस बीचेस, नो पोल्यूशन. एक्चुअली आई थिंक the least pollution country is New Zealand. One of the least polluted country is New Zealand. It is so beautiful and it is so wonderful, right? But you know the biggest problem there? Not costly. Costly is okay. You have a lot of money, you can go. Costly is not a problem. You know what is the biggest problem of New Zealand? Highest suicide rates of New Zealand. Because anybody knows why? Loneliness. What else? Loneliness is a very superficial reason. Go deeper. Huh? No people for relation is another word of loneliness basically, but yeah. But the problem is over there is people have not understood the purpose of their life. If the people understand, as we're talking about why they are special, then they will try to find answers for that. And when a person doesn't have a purpose of life, who commits suicide? Who don't find the purpose in their life? Is as simple as that. It's not the loneliness. For loneliness, people have a lot of other things that they do, right? They go to the bars, they go to the get a pet animals at home, throw party, right? That's why you see all these big people. Why do they throw party? Because of the loneliness. Believe me, उतने बड़े लोगों के साथ कौन मिलने आने वाला है, और जो मिलने आने वाला है वो भी वो सस्पिशियस नजर से देखेगा, ये कुछ तो पैसे लेने आया मेरे पास. So they can have relationship only with their equals. So they have to throw a party to get that equal to their home. I heard that practically every other day, all these big people have to have a parties. Otherwise, they will go crazy. Right? So coming back to the point of a choice. Huh? So we have a choice. The matter of fact that you made a choice, I must congratulate you. That you made a choice to come here. Despite of so many things must be happening in your home, with your friends and in your surroundings. फिर भी आपने ये निर्णय लिया कि मुझे यहाँ पे आना है. ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये बहुत, आप लोगों को ऐसा लगता है प्रभु जी क्या अभी आ गए, उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है, वो तो हम लोग आते हैं अभी हर सैटरडे. नो, इट इज नॉट ईजी. इट इज नॉट ईजी. आपने जो चॉइस किया है विच इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड दैट इज व्हाट द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स आर सपोज टू डू. अभी नीचे आई मेट वन पर्सन, दर्शन करके मैं आ रहा था, तुझे एक आई सॉ वन young chap. I said, like, we have this Bhagavad Gita here happening. If you want to come it's free of cost, and we are starting a new course today to help you understand Bhagavad Gita. I said, yeah, Bhagavad Gita है मेरे पास घर पे. And मैं बोला, anyways, you give me your number so at least we can add you to the group. नहीं नहीं, अगर मुझे लगेगा तो मैं आ जाऊँगा. So you can imagine, after giving them so much of a reason, still people cannot make a choice that I want to come. And I asked him, do you stay nearby? Abhi, for him it's just a walking distance, just right here. But still they cannot make a choice. Because, why they cannot make a choice? Any guesses? Ignorance, and they are too busy with the life that we share with the animals. They're too busy eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They're too busy to find a better food. They're too busy to find a better place to live. They're too busy to find the best serial to watch. Entertainment. That is nothing but same thing in a sophisticated way. That's what we do. So this choice is very, very important, and you have to continue to make a choice. It's not a one-time choice. You have to go on making those choices day after day after day. And that is what is going to determine your future. आपका भविष्य आपकी choices ही बनाएगी. One single choice you make and you again, वो ऐसे ना सांप सीढ़ी का खेल जैसा रहता है ये. Have you played this सांप सीढ़ी, snake and ladder, right? You make a right choices, is of course the choices is whatever the things are coming, and then one thing snake आ गया, आप वापस से नीचे आ जाओगे. And it happens. People feel कि नहीं यार कुछ ज़्यादा spirituality हो रहा है, थोड़ा मज़ा भी करना चाहिए लाइफ में. Nobody says we'll learn about that as well. Okay, we have to have a balanced life, right? But that does not mean that we completely give up the most important life, which is the spiritual life. So the choices that we make is very, very important. And then the last but not the least that makes us very, very special. And what is that? Anybody? The last thing that makes us very special is determination. So determination is something which makes us very, very special. We have to, that is what you see in the human beings, they have a determination to do something good. To do something bad, you don't require a determination. It's any animals can also do it. They have to go and bite somebody, they don't need to have a determination. That can easily be done, right? But here the human being have a determination that despite of all the odds, I want to do this good to others. Srila Prabhupada had that determination, right? चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, I want to go to America and preach this message of Bhagavad Gita to all the people in general, right? You have to have a determination in your studies, right? That is what is going to fetch you the good marks and get you the better life. But if that better life you don't engage in spiritual inquiry, then that determination will be as good as that donkey, I'm sorry to say. What is that donkey? The donkey has a carrot hanging ahead of him. I don't know how that is been, that story has been told to us for a longer time, even in the our corporate world, don't show me the carrot, right? That's what they call it. So I don't get it. I don't get it why, but that's what the story is. There, the owner of the donkey just puts the carrot with the stick, ahead of him. So donkey says, "I'll get this carrot. I'll this carrot." So for that he can carry any tons of loads, but he never gets this carrot. So that determination is useless. You have to have a determination for the right thing. You have to have a determination to study, get good grades, and become a better or a more successful person. And then what you want to do with that is going to be very, very important. There is one gentleman who comes to our thing, young person. He asked me, because that day we discussed about how money can bring all the other vices as well, right? So is it bad to earn a lot of money? That's the question he asked. I said, not at all. Not at all. It's all about what you do with that money is going to be the most important thing. Earning money is not a problem, because many times in spirituality people have that misconception. नहीं पैसा नहीं कमाना है, पैसा माया है, माया, you know. So there is one Babaji who says whenever he sees the money, now he just closes his eyes like that. And Prabhupada used to welcome money with both the hands. He says, come and give me money so that I can build more and more temples and give Krishna consciousness to so many people so that they can perfect their life. And we have a gentleman like this who is aspiring to have a lotus feet of Sri Krishna, then that is possible by giving temples to the people. That's why you will see the difference between the any other temple and a temple that you visit in ISKCON. I am not because I am in ISKCON. You see the temple of ISKCON will be much, much different than a temple that you see anywhere else. Why? Because in ISKCON temple, Srila Prabhupada said these are the universities. He considered temple as a university because that is where you need to learn. यहाँ पे कौन सी पढ़ाई की जाती है? The पढ़ाई of the most complex subject. Srila Prabhupada visited MIT in Boston, and he, because by that time he was really very famous and everybody knew that he's the guru type personality and he has a lot of followers. So he got a red carpet welcome to MIT, and people were showing him all the departments. There's a department of physics, department of chemistry, department of thermodynamics, this, that, so many departments Prabhupada visited. And Prabhupada asked, where is the department of soul? How do you study who you are? Where is that particular department? It's missing. Everywhere you go, people are studying all kinds of things, but where is a school or the university or the college which teaches you who you are? What is the purpose of your life? They just teach you chemistry, physics, maths, that's it. Or at the max, all this economic subject and commerce subject and art subject. But does anywhere in the school or even in colleges they are teaching Bhagavad Gita? Or universities? No. And that's what Srila Prabhupada opened up many, many temples. Because these temples are teaching Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Is actually teaching you how you are supposed to live in this world. That is what the universities are meant for originally. If you see in our Indian system, there were gurukuls. Gurukuls were giving you both the knowledge of the life and the knowledge of earning as well, how to earn a livelihood and also how to live a life and leave this world also at the end of the life. That is what these gurukuls were all about, and that is what Srila Prabhupada reinstalled that system by the help of opening temples. That's why money is not bad. Mr. Ford, he came to meet Srila Prabhupada. Not the original Mr. Ford, the descendant of Mr. Ford had come to, sorry? Henry Ford the second, but this one is Alfred Ford, who came to meet Srila Prabhupada. And the one question Srila Prabhupada asked, and this person was so convinced that this person is genuine and he surrendered his life and he became a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Alfred Ford is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada and his initiated name, उनका दीक्षित नाम जो है वो है अम्बरीश प्रभु. Not Amrish Puri, okay, because that's really people get confused with. But there was a great Raja Rishi. His name was Amrish Maharaj. उनके उपलक्ष्य में उनको ये नाम दिया गया था अम्बरीश प्रभु करके. So he got that name. So the first time he met Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada asked, where is Mr. Henry Ford? He just asked that very simple question. Where is Henry Ford? What he was trying to explain by that one simple question. वो एक साधारण सा क्वेश्चन पूछ के श्रीला प्रभुपाद क्या बताना चाहते थे कि अंडरस्टैंड द पर्पस ऑफ योर लाइफ. आपके परदादा ने पूरा एम्पायर खड़ा किया, जो किसी के पास नहीं था. सबसे पहले ही वॉज द वन जिसने मोटर इंडस्ट्री का असेंबली लाइन चालू किया, और इतना सारा पैसा बनाया, सब कुछ किया, इज्जत शोहरत एवरीथिंग यू नेम इट, ही हैड इट. बट अभी क्या है? वेयर इज ही? तो जीवन का लक्ष्य क्या है? जीवन का लक्ष्य यही है कि आपको भी हेनरी थर्ड फोर्थ बनना है, हाँ, और मोटर से हवाई जहाज बनाना है, हवाई जहाज से कोई वॉच बनाना है, क्या बनाना है आपको, जीवन का लक्ष्य क्या है, हाँ। तो एक ही प्रश्न में उनको समझ गया कि कौन है, एंड देन ही डोनेटेड सो मच। अभी भी जो मायापुर में मंदिर बन रहा है उनके लिए ही डोनेट मोर देन 100 crores of rupees हिमसेल्फ, हाँ, खुद के पॉकेट से। So Prabhupada accepted that. Why? Because why we are also having this good facility of AC and a nice place and everything. ताकि it's required, it's a requirement of today's day and age where people are going to come to such nice places. अगर टेम्पल भी हम ऐसे पुराने जैसे टूटे फूटे बना देंगे रख देंगे, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, you have to be detached. No, you have to attach to serve the Lord. You should be detached from serving yourself, but you should be attached to serving the Lord. That is how you will get the detachment. Detachment अपने आप नहीं आएगा। हम लोग चाहे कितना भी बोले ना, नहीं छोड़ दो, जैसे वो एक बंदा था ना, झाड़ को पकड़ के बोलते नहीं छोड़ दो मुझे, छोड़ दो। अरे भाई आपको छोड़ना है, झाड़ थोड़ी छोड़ेगा आपको। You have to live, right? But आप कभी छोड़ोगे जब भी you will find something really really nice to serve. हाँ, इसके लिए शिला प्रभुपाद टॉट युक्त वैराग्य, जो चीज़ है उसको अच्छी तरह से यूज़ करो। जैसे हम ये अच्छा फ़ोन है, क्यों यूज़ कर रहे हैं, इसको रिकॉर्डिंग करके जो लोग नहीं आए आज उनको मिलेगा। हाँ, वाई वी आर यूजिंग दिस माइक्रोफोन, दिस इज ऑल्सो साइंटिफिक थिंग, बट यूज इट इन द सर्विस ऑफ द लॉर्ड एंड दैट बिकम्स परफेक्ट। अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो, बड़े आदमी बनो, लॉट ऑफ पैसा कमाओ, पर क्या करो उसके साथ, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है। If you are spending for yourself, then you will fall victim to that. अगर आप वो पैसा भगवान के कार्य में लगाओगे तो आपका उद्धार हो जाएगा। और उसका सबसे बड़ा एग्जाम्पल है अरविंद मफतलाल जी। कभी टाइम मिलेगा उनके बारे में चर्चा करेंगे, तो बहुत जबरदस्त स्टोरी है उनका। ठीक है, सो विल गो फर्दर नाउ, as we already discussed that why these human beings are given a special privileges. But I'll just end with one funny poet, or rather one funny poem that one of the poet wrote, and which is very much resonating with all of us. And I was really amazed when I read this. It's so fantastic. It says, as a rule, man is fool. When it is hot, he wants it cool. When it is cool, wants it hot. Always wanting that which is not. It really describes us very well. हाँ, अगर आप देखोगे, चाहे कितना भी रहेगा ना, चाहे कितना भी अमीर रहेगा, बोलेगा यार आई वॉन्ट टू बी लाइक दैट। जैसे इन्होंने बनाया ना, एक छोटा सा घर हो, बस वहाँ पे आराम से, वो क्या बोलते हैं, स्लीप वेल वाला भी मैट्रेस नहीं चाहिए मेरे को, वो अपना चारपाई वाला, हाथ से गूंथा हुआ और अच्छे से बनाया हुआ, बस वो खटिया हो, बहुत है। तो जो अमीर आदमी वो सोचता है कि यार कब कब जाके मैं ऐसा लाइफ जीऊंगा, व्हेन विल आई गेट आउट ऑफ माय दिस मेस। एंड अ पर्सन हु इज सिटिंग ऑन दैट खटिया आराम से, वो क्या सोच रहा है, वो बम्बई की ओर देख रहा है। कभी मैं जाऊंगा बम्बई, कभी मैं अपना फैक्ट्री बनाऊंगा, कभी मैं ये करूंगा। हाँ, so this is the paradox of life. This is the paradox of life. That's what we are always wanting, that which is not. So that is very very important. So we have decided to go till 8:30. Okay, so we'll go further. So the next thing comes is the ये जो happiness है, whatever we are searching is kind of temporary, that we all agree, right? So let's go little deeper, that why do we think that this happiness is a temporary happiness. So definitely we can call out that some of the things why it is temporary is very simple, is it has a beginning and end. So that is the temporary definition of temporary. But what is the other definition of this temporary happiness, that what we all experience in this world, which is very very important, and that is pain and relief. Okay, so this temporary happiness, the very basic thing, if anybody wants to understand, is simple. Okay, but it's a very profound example. So hear very carefully. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव मेड व्हेन यू वर चाइल्ड, जब भी आप छोटे बच्चे थे तभी आप समंदर पे तो गए रहेंगे, हाँ समंदर किनारे, आपने वो कैसल वगैरह बनाया है क्या? आपने बनाया है, फिर लेके गए थे घर पे वो कैसल को? नहीं। रोए थे आप वो कैसल बनाने के बाद? क्यों? क्योंकि मम्मी डैडी ने बोला अभी टाइम हो गया, अभी जाने का है, तो कैसल को वहीं पे छोड़ के, इतनी मेहनत से बनाया था हमने, हाँ, और कितना जी जान डाला था। हम लोग तो कैसल बना रहे थे, मम्मी डैडी कुछ पॉपकॉर्न खा रहे थे यार, कुछ और ही चल रहा था, हाँ? पर हम लोग तो बहुत ध्यान से कैसल बना रहे थे, हाँ? पर जब भी मम्मी पापा का पॉपकॉर्न खत्म हो गया, मम्मी पापा ने क्या बोला? चलो अभी जाएंगे। तो अभी हम लोग ने क्या बोला? नहीं, ये मेरा कैसल है, मैंने बनाया है। तो मम्मी पापा बोलते अरे छोड़ो क्या। तो मम्मी पापा रोए आपके साथ? नहीं, हम ही रोए सिर्फ, because we were attached. Similarly, we are also making so many castles of our own, and we are not understanding that this is as good as the castle made by a child on the seashore, which is not a permanent thing. Which is not a permanent thing. And then there is a great story comes of Alexander. As we were talking, it was very resonating with this Prabhu had said very nice thing. So once Alexander wanted to see a sage, and then उसका कोई तो मंत्री वगैरह गया सेज के पास, और सेज को बोला कि अलेक्जेंडर आपको देखना चाहते हैं। बोलता है मैं नहीं आने वाला अलेक्जेंडर, उसको बोलो आना है तो मेरे पास आओ, वरना मैं नहीं आने वाला उसके पास। तो अलेक्जेंडर बहुत गुस्सा हो गया, बोलते है समझता क्या अपने आपको सेज, हाँ कौन है ये, मैं जाता हूँ उसको दिखाता हूँ। तो गया सेज के पास, बोलता है डू यू नो मी? ऑफ कोर्स नॉट, हु आर यू? तो बोलता है आई एम द ग्रेट अलेक्जेंडर। अच्छा क्या करता है अलेक्जेंडर? बोलता है आई हैव कॉन्कर द वर्ल्ड। अच्छा आपने क्यों जीता? अभी क्या करना चाहते हो? अरे मैंने पूरा वर्ल्ड जीत लिया, अभी क्या करने वाले हो? बोलता है मैं इतना बड़ा पैलेस बनाऊंगा अपना कि जो आज तक किसी ने नहीं बनाया ऐसा। Nobody has made a palace like that. I'm going to make that kind of a big palace. अच्छा उसके बाद क्या करोगे? I'm going to choose the most 100 beautiful women on this earth and I will marry them. उनसे मैं शादी करूंगा। अच्छा उसके बाद क्या करोगे? हर एक में से मैं मुझे एक एक बच्चा होगा। अच्छा उसके बाद क्या करोगे? Then I will divide the entire world, हाँ, in these 100 sons of mine, हाँ, उनको मैं पूरी दुनिया बांट दूंगा उनके बीच में। अच्छा उसके बाद क्या करोगे? उसके बाद आई रियली वॉन्ट टू रिलैक्स इन पीस। बोलते रियली? देन आई हैव वन सजेशन फॉर यू, आई एम ऑलरेडी डूइंग दैट, कम एंड सिट नेक्स्ट टू मी and I will really make you do relax and peace very nicely. That is what I am doing already. And it really opened the eye of Alexander, that sage. And because of that, he told his ministers that whenever I'll go from this world, just make sure my both the hands are out of the coffin. हाँ, कॉफिन के बाहर रख देना मेरे दोनों हाथ, ताकि दुनिया को पता चले कि अलेक्जेंडर ने बहुत कुछ पाया इस दुनिया में, पर जब भी वो गया तभी वो खाली हाथ गया था। तो वो बहुत ही जरूरी है कि हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, किसके लिए कर रहे हैं, अगर उसका हमें समझ में नहीं आएगा तो दैट विल बी वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फर्दर। नाउ दिस पेन एंड रिलीफ इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग। अगर हम लोग देखें, बहुत कम लोग हैं कि जो हैप्पीनेस जो पाते हैं वो इवन इन द मटेरियल प्लेटफॉर्म पे भी थोड़ा किक देने वाला होता है, यू नो। बट जनरली इफ यू सी आवर हैप्पीनेस इज, पेन में से रिलीफ मिला ना तो वो हैप्पीनेस हो जाता है। जैसे अभी पहले के ज़माने में हाउ दे यूज टू पनिश पीपल एंड गेट थिंग्स आउट फ्रॉम देयर माउथ इज बेसिकली, जो भी रहस्य है, सीक्रेट चीज़ें अगर निकलवानी है किसी से तो उसको पानी में ऐसे डुबोते थे एंड ऑलमोस्ट दे आर अबाउट टू डाई, एंड तभी उसको सांस लेने के लिए बाहर निकालते थे, वापस से उसको अंदर रखते, वापस से बाहर निकालते थे। हाँ, तो जब भी वो सांस लेता है इन बिटवीन तभी उसको ऐसा रिलीफ लगता है। हाँ, दैट इज बेसिकली अ हैप्पीनेस। तो यू में वंडर कह रहे प्रभु जी हमारा उतना खराब हालत नहीं है, बट अगर आप देखोगे अपना हैप्पीनेस जो है ना वो मोर और लेस ऐसा ही है. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव लॉस्ट योर वॉलेट? हैव यू गॉट इट बैक? एनीबडी? How did you feel after you received your wallet back? Very happy, right? Probably must be. Isn't it? You feel so happy, oh, so relaxed. मिल गया वापस से. हाँ? कुछ नया पाया आपने? कुछ नहीं पाया नया. जो खोया था वही मिला है आपको. Nothing new. But you feel so happy. That is what this pain and relief is all about. That is what the temporary happiness in this material world. जैसे आपको डर लगेगा, अरे यार एग्जाम बहुत खराब गया है. When the result आया अच्छे मार्क, अरे wow, so nice. Right? So it's not that something you got extra or you did something different, right? It is something like, what was causing you the pain, it did not happen. Right? Then it give you the happiness. That is what it's all about. So generally they call it the happiness is a gap between two miseries. दो मिजरी के बीच का जो गैप है ना, उसको ज्यादातर हम लोग हैप्पीनेस समझते हैं. चलो आज नुकसान तो नहीं गया ना, ठीक है, अच्छा है. That is what happiness is all about. Then generally if we see in the material world, as I was talking about, that even if that particular happiness gives you a little kick, when I say little kick in the sense, let's say some like amazing ice cream that you never ate, and somebody says like there's a very costly ice cream, and I heard that there is one ice cream which is worth 3 lakhs of rupees or something, which you get it in Dubai or somewhere. वहाँ पे उनका वो रियल सोने का वो लोग कुछ तो ऊपर डालते हैं, that real gold thing है कुछ तो, and then you eat it or something like that. But it is said that it's a, let me just read out exactly what it is being mentioned here. It's called the law of diminishing marginal returns. I repeat, it's a law of diminishing marginal returns. I believe it's a economics ka law hai, right? It says every extra bite of ice cream or chocolate gives a reduced pleasure. That is what it is. How many of you have gone to the most fanciest restaurant and the most delicious food that you have ever got in that restaurant, and the first time you really enjoyed it, and second time you went, and you please tell us what was your experience? It's not a big deal, right? First time it was really, really wow. Exactly. वो होटल वाला भी कंफ्यूज हो जाता है, अरे भाई हमारा सेम मसाला है, कुछ भी चेंज नहीं हुआ है यार. सेम मसाला एवरीथिंग, एंड यू वंडर यार लास्ट टाइम तो क्या था पता नहीं, इधर का कुक चेंज हो गया लगता है. उतना मजा नहीं है जितना पहली बार मजा आया था. दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम विद द मटेरियल हैप्पीनेस. I confess, like, I stayed in US and we went to the Niagara Fall first time. Oh my God, believe me, it was such an amazing ride. You actually drive by to the same, Niagara River, pass by, and it is such a crystal clear water, and the way the Niagara River flows is so beautiful sight to watch. And then the icing on the cake is the made of the mist, like, they take you in the, like, little boat or a little ship, and like, almost you are like almost 100 feet away from the Niagara Fall, but right at the bottom of the Niagara, and you can see those falling and all this like mist come on you, and it is what a wow experience. But I happen to be living very close to that, about just 4-5 hours drive from that place, so whoever my friends were coming, I had to take them to the Niagara Fall. So the second time I said like yeah, okay, I'll come with you, the Maid of the Mist. I enjoyed a bit. Third time I said, I'm not even coming to that Maid of the Mist, आप लोग जाके आ जाओ. So that is what it is. The pleasure go on diminishing. And that is where people, when they grow old, because क्या है, this material world ना, थोड़े टाइम के बाद ना वो आपको वापस से वो थोड़ा सा याद दिलाता है कि हाँ इसमें है प्लेजर, और आप भूल भी जाते हो कि क्या एक्सपीरियंस था. इसके लिए आप जो रेस्टोरेंट में खाए थे, अगर आप 2 महीने के बाद जाओगे तो इतना मजा नहीं आएगा, बट बिलीव मी, इफ यू गो आफ्टर 3 years ना, सेम रेस्टोरेंट, यू विल फील हाँ मस्त है, इट्स रियली नाइस, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट दिस मटेरियल एनर्जी प्लेज विथ यू. It makes you forget the experiences, and then, like, you feel like it's a new experience. Huh? That's why what they call it, that kahavat, like, old bottle or new dar, nahi, what is it? Old wine in new bottle, right? Something like that. It's exactly the same. It's just the same old stuff, but just it's presented in a new bottle. You feel it's something different, but it's the same old thing. It's the same old thing, and that is what the problem with this material happiness, because always diminishing, right? And then the last but not the least is a limited. It's very very limited. हाँ? अगर आप बेस्ट ऑफ द रेस्टोरेंट में गए, आपको बहुत अच्छा लगा खाना, कितना खा पाओगे आप, राइट? कभी कभी, आई डोंट नो, यू हैव गॉन टू दिस मैरेजेस, राइट? समटाइम्स इट इज सो नाइस प्रिपरेशन, यू रियली फील कर यार उसने मेरे को एक ही दिया, यू नो, और बाजू वाले को 2 दिया, मुझे क्यों एक ही दिया, फिर somehow, बाय गॉड्स ग्रेस यू गेट 1 more, देन यू फील चल अच्छा हो गया. फिर उसके बाद वो क्या बोलते हैं, होस्ट comes and starts to feed, and you happen to be the one of the special person. They come, you are really, दाल चावल भी खा लिया, फरसान भी खा लिया, सब कुछ खा लिया, you are now completely full, you are full till here. Now the one sweet that you are really craving for, जो भी आपने अच्छे से 2 खा लिए हैं, अभी this person comes and said नहीं आपको ये खाना ही है. बोले नहीं नहीं खाना ही है मेरे हाथ से, it's coming from my hand. I wonder what is so special about your hand, Prabhu. I will really, like, pay obeisances to your hand. आपको नमस्कार है वो हाथ को, but मेरे मुंह की ओर मत लाओ. I am really full. But just to please them, you have to have it, right? But you are not enjoying that because it's limited how much you can enjoy. How much you can enjoy. And that's where Shankaracharya tells a very beautiful story. There was a man who was running. Why he was running? Because there were a tiger and 3 cubs were chasing him. So while running, he fell into a deep dark well. And while he was falling into the well, उसने एक ऐसे थोड़ा सा ऐसा क्या बोलते हैं वो प्लांट जैसा उसमें से था, या तो छोटा सा ट्री जैसा था, उसका एक ब्रांच उसने पकड़ लिया. तो somehow that he did not fall completely down and he got survived. अभी क्या हुआ, जब भी वो सर्वाइव किया तो टाइगर भी आ गया वहाँ पे और उसके 3 बच्चे भी आ गए, ऊपर मंडरा रहे हैं, ऐसे गोल गोल घूम रहे. अभी टाइगर तो कूदेगा नहीं अंदर, वो कैसे कूदेगा, वो नहीं हो पाएगा. तो टाइगर ऊपर मंडरा रहा है, वो गिरा, वो डाली पकड़ के रुका हुआ है. नीचे देखा तो बड़ा ब्लैक कोबरा है, बोलता है अरे नीचे भी जंप नहीं मार सकता अभी तो. और जब वो पकड़ के बैठा है तभी उसको वहाँ पे एक वाइट रैट एंड एक ब्लैक रैट, they were enjoying the same branch that he was hanging on and they were chewing on that. पता नहीं क्या था उसमें, but they were really chewing on that, they really enjoyed that. And this fellow is looking at those 2 rats, अरे बाप रे क्या चल रहा है. As soon as they eat up the branch, I'll fall and the snake is ready to bite me. And then जब भी वो सोच रहा था उतने में ही suddenly there were so many bees coming, honey bees, and they started biting him. And while all things were happening, because somebody disturbed those honeycomb and all these honeybees coming, in the same well there was a honeycomb little up there, and उसमें से honey drop हो रहा था. Now I'll tell the entire story and you may wonder कि प्रभु जी ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है, but that's actually Shankaracharya tells that this is what the story of every human being, ये हमारे सबका स्टोरी है. ऐसा शंकराचार्य जी बताते हैं. सो जब भी हनी भी उसको बाइट करती रहती है, तभी वो हनी कॉम से हनी का एक एक ड्रॉप गिरता रहता है और वो अपना टंग ऐसे बाहर करके उसको लेता है और वो उतना स्वीट लगता है. कैन यू इमेजिन द प्योर हनी डायरेक्टली कमिंग, नो डाबर हनी विच इज हाफ शुगर हाफ दिस, राइट? इट्स अ प्योर हनी dripping from there and he was enjoying. And while all these things are going on, and that is why it is called कि हमें जो ये भौतिक जगत में जो ये सुख मिलता है ना, इट इज़ लाइक दैट हनी, इट्स वेरी वेरी लिमिटेड. एंड वो लिमिटेशन के साथ क्या है, इतने सारे तकलीफ़ें हैं. क्या तकलीफें हैं? So basically the tiger is a desire which is chasing us every now and then. Along with that, three cubs. What is that? Anger, envy, and greed. These are the three things which is really really causing us. Envy की वजह से ही हम लोग लेते हैं ना. कौन सा वो टीवी? Onida. That used to be a advertisement used to come. Some of you may not know, but when we were young, there were only few TVs. Those were the old good old days, where सिलेक्शन करना नहीं पड़ता था. दुकान में जाओ, एक ही टीवी मिलता है, वो लेके आ जाओ. आज जाओ तो बाप रे दिमाग खराब हो जाता है, कौन सा टीवी लेना है. प्रभु जी सेड लाइक ये फीचर है, नहीं वो उसमें है, वो इसमें नहीं है, वो इसमें वो उसमें नहीं है. यू गो ऑन कंपेयरिंग एंड सो मेनी थिंग्स, राइट. तो उस टाइम पे वो टीवी का एडवर्टाइजमेंट था, ओनर्स प्राइड नेबर्स एनवी. तो हम लोग मेजोरिटी ऑफ द थिंग जो हम लोग करते हैं लाइफ में इज बिकॉज ऑफ द एनवी. वी वांट टू लाइक either we are envious or we want to make others envy. अगर उसके पास 56 इंच का टीवी है तो मेरे उधर 68 इंच का आना ही चाहिए, नहीं तो फायदा क्या है, मतलब क्या है. And greed has no end. So that is chasing us. The desire with this three things is chasing us. And who are these rats? Black and white rats is day and night. Every passing of the day and every passing of the night, you are one day closer to whom? That black cobra who is waiting down there, who represents death. And who all these honeybees are? That all these miseries that we get in between. That is what it is all about. And what is that honey? Is the drop of happiness that we get in this life. Nothing more than that. It sounds depressing, isn't it? But it's a reality. अगर हम लोग थोड़ा उसमें डीप डाउन जाएंगे ना, जैसे प्रभु जी ने बहुत अच्छे से बोला, आई एम वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू दैट यू ब्रॉट आउट दैट पॉइंट, दैट हम लोग इतना हैंकरिंग करते हैं, वो टाइगर जैसे पीछे पड़ा ना, ऐसे हम लोग भागते कि नहीं मेरे को आईफोन चाहिए ही चाहिए, मेरे को ये चीज चाहिए ही चाहिए, आई वॉन्ट दिस कार, आई वॉन्ट दिस थिंग. पर जैसे ही वो मिलेगा ना, ऐसा लगा यार ठीक है ठीक है. So that is what exactly these things are. We are chasing at the cost of our own life all these things. And that is what Srimad Bhagavad Gita is helping us, that don't go after these things, which is nothing but very, very temporary. This temporary happiness is not going to get you anything, because it has a beginning and end. It is like, just pain and relief thing. And it's very, very limited. Very limited. Then why you want to go after it, right? And that is where we see that two types of this honeybees that were like biting that, and the problems that were happening. So we are going to go into the problem, but before that let me see the problem of time. Okay, 8:22. Okay, so we'll have 8 more minutes. So now we will talk about as those honeybees were stinging, right? So those are nothing but the problems of the life. So let me ask you, we talked about a lot of happiness. Let's talk about the real stuff now, right? What is the real stuff? The problems, right? So what are the problems that you face in this life? Don't give me hypothetical problems. Tell me your genuine problems that you are facing and you would like to solve those problems. What are the problems? Health problems. Wow. He looks very healthy, by the way. No, tell me your genuine problems. Don't make up or don't tell me something that you have heard from somewhere. Tell me what are the problems that you see in this world, pertaining to yourself, pertaining to your community, pertaining to your state, country, whatever. Constant fear of being judged by others. Please give her a big hand. Believe me, this is very, very... This is, I would say, a number one fear. Number one fear, isn't it? You're constantly being judged. The matter of fact that what you are doing is depending on not what you like, but you are doing what others are going to like it. क्योंकि हमको ये फियर है कि लोग जज करेंगे, अरे भगवत गीता क्लास में जाता है, क्या पागल हो गया है. ऐसा थोड़ी करते हैं. वो तो जब बुढ़े हो जाएंगे ना, जब दांत वात नहीं रहेंगे, बाल सब गिर जाएंगे, तभी जाके जाना रहता है भगवत गीता में. उसके पहले जाके क्या फायदा. समझ में भी नहीं आएगा कुछ, जैसे वो बुढ़ा होने के बाद समझ में आ जाएगा उसको. हाँ, कैन यू इमेजिन? सो दिस इज the fundamental problem, being judged. What other problems that we see in this world? Lack of appreciating what you have. My God, one after another, like, really, please give a big hand as well. Like, it's really, repeat that again. Very brilliant point. Lack of appreciating what you have. That's amazing. I'm telling you this, guys, sir. This place has really something, believe me. I have never heard this kind of responses in any of my previous courses that I have done. Believe me. I'm not just exaggerating, it is a fact. The lack of appreciation that we have. Why, my God, what we have. Very nice point. Anything else? So generally, when I ask, that's what, like, even in the book also it's being mentioned. Like, people talk about the problems of, like, when we think of the problems, our minds visualize the corruption, wars, death, famine, unemployment, pollution, etc. As we ponder further, the smartphones, apps, ineffective diet, bosses, and even mother-in-law or a daughter-in-law make it to the list. We can categorize all these problems and more into temporary problems, right? So these are the problems that we can think of. But these two problems are not in the list, which is actually, I really feel, is number one and two problems, or rather both are number one problem. I think if we I would say, get out of that fear of not being judged, I think your life will become sublime. And if you start practicing of appreciation of what you have, your life will become blissful. Because many a times we focus on what we don't have. We don't focus on what we have. We just focus on what we don't have. So what is the nature of this problems is again being categorized, and I'll share this book as well. Like, we will have the copies of this book. This is a very wonderful book. It's a very systematic way, helps you create your foundation for understanding Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we'll take this one thing and then we'll stop for today. Okay. So it's very easy to remember. These problems are categorized as an RBI. RBI is also a problem, right? So R is relative, B is beginning and end. This problem do have the beginning and end. And I is interrupted by little happiness. So if you see, most of the problems that we face is relative in this world, other than these two problems that I feel is the universal problem in one sense, right? But the other problems that we face, as we are talking about happiness, right? We actually went in and realized that those are other happiness that we are chasing after. So similarly, these problems are like relative problems, that I have a toothache. Who do you have to go to? Dentist, right? So is dentist also sad as I am? He is happy. He's not happy, but he's happy, right? Nobody has, if everyone is like my grandmother, like, not a single tooth extraction, forget about your root canal, nothing. She never visited a dentist in her life. If everyone is like that, then the dentist would say, why the hell I did the dentistry? इसका पढ़ाई मैंने क्यों किया? हाँ? So it's a relative problem. If there is a rain, what happens to all the sabji walas and others? They feel real problem there, right? Oh my God, मेरा धंधे का क्या होगा, आज का क्या होगा? But then छाते वाला जो है वो is in bliss. आओ भैया वो लेके जाओ छाता मेरी तरफ से. So these all problems are relative, right? And then another thing is, a problem has a beginning and end. So once a king asked a sage that, oh my dear sage, just help me with one thing, that if I have that one thing, then मेरे लाइफ में चाहे कुछ भी हो ना, अगर वो चीज को मैं देखूं ना, तो मेरा वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाना चाहिए. पता नहीं क्यों लोग सेजिस के पास ही ऐसे क्यों जाते हैं और ऐसे डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन लेके आ जाते हैं. But to our surprise, sage always have something or the other to solve those problems. Huh? So sage ने बोला ठीक है, I'll give you something, but you promise me that you open up only when you are going through the most difficult time, or you are going to open it only when you are going to the most joyful time. हाँ, जब भी आप एकदम दुखी हो जाओगे तभी आप उसको खोलोगे, या तो जब भी आप एकदम सुख की अनुभूति करोगे तभी आप उसको खोलोगे, उसके पहले आप उसको नहीं खोलोगे. तो ठीक है. तो king was attacked by the neighboring king. He was like, half of his kingdom was gone and he was really struggling, and then he was almost depressed. Huh? And at that time he realized, oh, that sage told me that I have this particular thing. He put me in a nice संदूक में ऐसे दिया था मुझे बॉक्स में. Let me open that. क्या है उसके अंदर? शायद कुछ खजाना रहेगा, कुछ तो रहेगा जिससे मेरा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगा. तो खोलता है, तो उसमें ना एक ऐसा सोने का रिंग रहता है. हाँ, उसके ऊपर अच्छे से लिखा रहता है, दिस शैल टू पास. वो देख के उसको इतना होप मिलता है कि ओके ठीक है, दिस इज नॉट माई परमानेंट सिचुएशन, दिस शैल टू पास. हाँ, और वो रख देता है, एंड उसके बाद ही वर्क्स हार्ड, गेट्स हिज किंगडम बैक, एंड उसके बाद ही बिकम्स वेरी हैप्पी, एंड ही इज लाइक इन द नाइन्थ क्लाउड एज दे कॉल इट, राइट, रियली एंजॉइंग. एंड तभी उसको सडनली याद आता है, अरे यार वो सेज ने बोला था लेट मी जस्ट ओपन अप, क्या है. तो ओपन करता है वापस से, ही रीड्स दैट थिंग अगेन, this shall too pass. So he becomes sober. He becomes sober in that highest or the peak of the enjoyment. And the peak of the sorrow also, he was hopeful, because this shall too pass. That's why that's the nature of the problem. It's the temporary. It has a beginning and end. And what is the other problem is an interesting problem which is being mentioned in this book, is called interrupted by little happiness. And the same question, I was surprised that how this spiritual knowledge has an answer to everything. आध्यात्मिक बुक्स में सभी चीज़ों का जवाब रहता है, आंसर रहता है. हाँ, तो लास्ट टाइम I think you asked that question, that दो लोग बैक बाइटिंग करते हैं, ये होता है, and then she was really bugged up and left that job. So I'll read that problem as it is. Okay, it's being printed in this book, and I did not print this book yesterday. Okay, you can make out when it was printed. One of my friends faced the challenge finding a job despite having an MBA degree from a leading business school. One day, upon receiving a lucrative offer from a multinational company, he threw a big party in celebration. A couple of months later, he was again lamenting being a victim of office politics. It is literally mentioned here, office politics. Some time went by, and we heard that he was happy to quit his job and take up another, only to realize that the new position had new complications to offer. Exact same story, isn't it? This is not a surprise. And as I said, I did not print this book yesterday. Believe me, it's the exact same story. You will find all your problems, solutions in this book, Bhagavad Gita, and all the books surrounding the Bhagavad Gita. You will find it. Because what this problem is a little happiness which gives us a permanent hope. जैसे जब भी उसको फर्स्ट जॉब मिल गया, व्हाट यू मस्ट हैव थॉट, अभी मेरा लाइफ सेट हो गया, अभी इसके बाद कुछ देखना नहीं है, अभी गाड़ी 5th गियर में, बस जाने दो. हाँ, बम्बई में तो 5th गियर में जाता नहीं, वो छोड़ो, वो अलग बात है. हाँ, यू फील वाओ, नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू क्रूज. जैसे ही थोड़ा गया, ब्रेक लग गया उधर ही. दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम. That's a problem of this world. And next time we'll talk about the real problems and the permanent problems. Okay? Why I say permanent means everyone has it. Okay? So we'll discuss more in detail about the problems. Those are the real problems. So far we saw the problems which are temporary and has a nature of relativity, right? That sabji wala had a problem, but chhate wala did not have the problem. I had a problem being a toothache, but the dentist did not have that problem. right? He may have it some other time, but at that time he did not have that problem. It's a relative thing, right? And also we saw that it has a beginning and end, right? You may get a malaria, right? You may be, or malaria to bhi nahi hota hai, but typhoid, or like, any other thing, right? Any disease which has a beginning and end to some extent, most of the disease, right? Of course the other chronic disease may not have this, that we talk about that, but little bit of this is kind of coming to an end. Maybe your financial position, maybe your job situation, you may feel करे permanent हो गया, नहीं, अभी आपके पास जॉब नहीं, is a permanent situation? No, it has a beginning and it has an end. Like that king, right, who lost his kingdom, half of his kingdom, it was a permanent situation? No, temporary, and he got it back, right? So that is what is about the temporary problems, but we'll talk about the most real problems next time. So I'll quickly summarize as to what we discussed so far, which is really nice. And what we will do is I'll share the screenshot of this summary, okay, on the group. I'll send it to Abhishek Prabhu, and he will post it so that everyone will get it. I have taken the pictures of this already, and I'll share that, okay. So what we discussed so far is all living entities seek happiness, that we all agreed, right? And then the four activities that are common to the humans and the animals, which is sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending, right? Animals also have the intelligence, but that intelligence is only for this seed activity. So there is a nice thing is given in the book, is the all in a acronym form, so that you all remember what it is. Huh? So their intelligence is restricted to only sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending, seed activities, right? And the four privileges that human beings gets are what? Is A, B, C, D. Easy to remember. A is ability for spiritual inquiry. B for bliss. What are the different types, four types of enjoyment that we talked about, right? Emotional pleasure, intellectual pleasure, spiritual pleasure, and the physical pleasure, right? And then C is choices that we make, is a very, very important, right? The what choices we make. And D is determination. The determination, again, not for seed, but determination for the higher things, right? And then why are humans given a special privilege, that we already talked about? Because we have a very special role to play, like a prime minister, like he is given that privileges because he has to fulfill those responsibilities. So we have given these special things to fulfill the responsibility of serving the Lord and understanding who we are, right? For that these things are given, not just to have, like, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, right? So those are the things. And after that we talked about the two types of specifically the temporary happiness that we talked about, and that is has a beginning and end. Pain and relief, right, that we talked about. Kuch kho jata hai, mil jata hai, so that what we consider as a, and is nothing but a misery, sorry, the gap between two miseries, right? That's what the real happiness we consider. And then it's limited. We had a very graphic example of a man, like, getting into the well and stuck by the bees and everything else, right? And relief from pain is not a state of a positive happiness. And the last thing we talked about is we don't need miseries to enjoy permanent happiness. We are all seeking unlimited joyful experiences devoid of problems. And then we talked about the two problems. We talked about the first problem. First of the problem is the temporary. Next time we are going to see the most real problem or the permanent problems. And in the temporary problems, those are RBI, relative, B is beginning and end, and I stands for interrupted by little happiness. Yeah, so those are the things we discussed today. And next time, please come on time, and we will have again nice 1.5 hour of discussion amongst all of us, and we will learn more about further things. And believe me, what I thought initially we put as a 3 sessions to complete everything, but I felt it will be an injustice to all of us if I just rush through it and just give you a very superficial, like, as we call it in 30, corporate word, 30,000 feet, or like, 10,000 feet view, bird eye view. उसमें मजा नहीं आएगा. You will not be able to get to the thing, and I'm sure you will not be able to, like, get this book and read on your own. Of course you will get this book for sure if you are interested. We do have a copy available on Amazon as well, and if you want, I can get it right from the author as well, because this author is from ISKCON only, Premnidhi Prabhu, and he's a very good friend of a person who came last week, and we had this Kirtan Sangha program and everything. So he's a very good friend of him, and he was a co-author also of this book. Of course, his name is not here, but he was also co-author of this particular book. Okay, so it's a very wonderful thing. So I thought we'll go very systematic in this book, and I'll try to help build a strong foundation so that when we read Bhagavad Gita, it will be a cakewalk for us to go through that. Okay, and it is going to talk about Bhagavad Gita's main 5 principles that Bhagavad Gita talks about. What are those 5 principles that Bhagavad Gita talks about? Ishvara, Jiva, Prakruti, Kala, and Karma. These are the 5 very important things that anyone should know in this human form of life, and that this book will cover primarily. And in the advanced level, we'll read Bhagavad Gita as it is, sloka by shloka, to learn that. Okay, but we'll complete the basics first. Okay, if that's okay with everybody. Yeah, okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. So we'll have announcements now.